What's up, my friends? This is Dante coming to you live with a new 1 minute or less for the up and coming bout this Friday, December 19th on Netflix with Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. All right, y'all, let me get into this one. So far, the talk in the boxing gym has been, Dante, who do you think is going to win? Is Anthony Joshua just so much of a bigger threat for Jake Paul that Jake Paul is going to be overwhelmed with Anthony Joshua's power? And I might have a little twist on this one. So this fight prediction, I'm going to actually say that Jake Paul has been very strategic with the people that he's been picking to choose to box against. He's been actually genius at this because he's been picking people who I think he thinks is washed, but they still have a name. So if you go back over all of the people that he's ever boxed against, all of them former UFC champions, all these big kind of like legends even in their sport at a certain particular time, whether they were NFL players, whatever. And I think Anthony Joshua, being the former heavyweight champion of the world, he was a former Olympian. Anthony Joshua by far is the biggest test that Jake Paul is going to experience. My heart is with Anthony Joshua. I think that he's been a good boxer, a good fighter, a good ambassador to the sport. But I feel like it depends on what Anthony Joshua is going to show up to this fight. And let me explain. Anthony lately feels to me like he's been kind of two different fighters, maybe three. But if the Anthony Joshua that shows up that has a little bit of a lazier defense, let his lead hand drop down, doesn't move his head like how he was when he fought the boys or and got knocked out, or if that Anthony Joshua that fought Usyk both times is the same type of guy who fought the boys, if he shows up, I think Jake Paul may win. However, if the Anthony Joshua that shows up that fought Ngannou, if that Anthony Joshua shows up, the same Anthony Joshua that fought Klitschko and won the World Heavyweight Championship then, I think that he'll give Jake his first loss, or second loss actually, and that would be the Anthony Joshua that I would think would steamroll through Jake Paul in the first few rounds, setting up his next fight that they're kind of trying to set up between him and Tyson Fury. If that Anthony Joshua shows up, Jake Paul is in trouble. However, Jake Paul has been getting better every fight. And I think initially all of us in the boxing world was like, well, let's just see what happens. This guy has this massive following. Some people really took it as a joke. It's like, man, this guy's not going to do anything in boxing. He's making a mockery out of the sport. However, he is getting a lot of young men interested in boxing and young women, but a lot of people have been coming into this gym because they've said that they've watched these Jake Paul fights. So he is making this kind of impact in the sport. So if he's picking Anthony because he sees some slippage in Anthony, and perhaps Anthony is kind of slipping a little bit, but at the same time, he's still a great threat. He's still Anthony Joshua, as we've known him to be, the super athletic, super powerful, great heavyweight champion, former heavyweight champion. And I think it's going to be a very interesting fight. So I think my prediction is Jake may win this fight by decision. But if it ends up being through a knockout, oh man, I will want to say it's Anthony Joshua that may take Jake Paul out. But don't be surprised if Jake ends up surprising us all and knocking Anthony out. It's a tough fight. It's actually, in my mind, probably like a 50-50 fight, to be honest with you. So like I said, it depends on what Anthony Joshua shows up. And we won't know until he actually gets into the ring and he starts to show his mantle. And we'll find out Friday, December the 19th in Miami, Florida on Netflix. Y'all check it out, and y'all enjoy the fight. Y'all can subscribe to the channel. We're on YouTube under Dante's Boxing Gym. We're on TikTok as well under Dante's Boxing Gym. And I'll make another boxing chat after the fights, after this Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul fight, again on Netflix Friday at 8 p.m. on Netflix on December the 19th. Y'all enjoy the fight. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.